Today I fucked up by claiming tea that wasn't mine, leading to a colleague taking offense and hundreds of pounds worth of damage to my workplace. Me and my boss have a pretty great relationship. Lots of banter, elaborate practical jokes. It makes the working environment a much better place. Between us, that is. I'm the only one to have that kind of back and forth with him. All my colleagues, much older Polish men who generally don't speak English very well, save for one or two who act as translators, he's always brusque and professional. The Polish workers are the first at the factory and the last to leave, so he often writes handwritten instructions for the work they have to complete. As such, they're familiar with his handwriting, a fact which will become important later on. This morning, whilst making myself and my colleague Piotr a cup of tea as he operated a machine, my boss comes into the canteen. Piotr brings in his own tea. It's some kind of special infusion citrus aroma thing. It smells nice. Lots of pictures of flowers on the outside, pretty expensive stuff. My boss asks me whose tea it is. I could have told him it was Piotr's and that would have been the end of it. But, for reasons inexplicable even to myself, I found myself telling him it was mine. Perhaps I knew that he would crack a few jokes over it and wanted some early morning entertainment. Maybe my brain was still only half awake and it was a genuine mistake. Whatever the cause, I found myself claiming ownership, and as expected received a barrage of well-meaning abuse. I chuckled, put the tea back and returned outside with a cup for myself and for Piotr. What I will now tell you I have managed to piece together through talking to others, my own detective work, and some natural deduction. At lunchtime Piotr and two of his friends were crowded around the cupboard in the canteen, all talking animatedly. Piotr was shouting whilst his friends seemed to be trying to placate him. Seems that my boss, believing the tea to be mine, took it upon himself to tape the following label to the tin. Now my boss telling me this was a simple expression meaning he thought it was ridiculous tea. Due to a cruel twist of fate, however, Piotr the tea's true owner is a homosexual who it seems had left his last job due to cruel and constant taunting over his sexual orientation. He believed the expression "shove it up your ass" to be targeted at his homosexuality. It seems he went on a rant in Polish, questioning which of his friends told our boss, asking how dare he put that on his tea, declaring that simply because he was gay did not mean that he took pleasure from throwing anything he could get his hands on up there. The more he shouted, the angrier he got, until he stormed from the building into his car to eat his lunch alone. This is yet another cruel twist of fate, leading me to wonder whether all these coincidences really weren't coincidences after all but some kind of cosmic joke beyond my understanding. Last night Piotr had bought himself a bottle of Krupnik, a Polish alcohol, on his way home from work and had forgotten to take it out of his car. As such it remained when he entered for his lunch, and in his anger and frustration he decided one drink couldn't hurt and before he knew it the man was inebriated. My boss, out of the factory at lunchtime to buy himself fish and chips, was unaware of the events unfolding. Immediately after lunch Piotr was needed on the forklift. This I wasn't witness to, but it seems as soon as the vehicle lurched backwards some people guessed what had happened and ran to stop him. Alas, it was too late. All I heard was a tremendous crash that echoed around the factory, and running out found that the forklift had careered into and straight through the factory doors. Piotr has walked out of the factory in a rage and hasn't returned since. My boss, learning what had happened, is now looking for me, furious and in need of a scapegoat. I am currently hiding in the toilets and will remain here until the end of the day. TL, Doctor, I told my boss I owned some tea which wasn't mine. He left a note telling me to shove it up my ass. A gay Polish man took it as discrimination, got drunk and crashed a forklift through the factory doors, completely destroying them. Update, with little left to do today anyway I have slunk out of the back door unnoticed and driven home. Some may call this cowardly, those people would be correct. There is another reason I didn't go talk to my boss and Piotr, though. When I left the toilets I could hear them having a screaming match along with one of Piotr's friends in the canteen. With my boss so angry and feeling guilty, he may well have fired me in front of the other workers. Being a proud man, I think it would then be very unlikely for him to take me back. I'm leaving in 6 weeks anyway, but I need that next paycheck. Anyway, it'll be safer to talk in the morning. Here's a picture of the ruined door since covered up by plasterboard. I've blacked out details of the company I work for. Final update, okay, so thankfully things seem to have gone swimmingly. Coming into work this morning, my boss called me into his office. Instead of a tirade, I apologized for him and started to explain, and he cut me off with an apology of his own. It was literally like a "I'm sorry, no I'm sorry" type thing, after which we both laughed and patted each other on the back. Turns out he came to an agreement with Piotr after figuring out what had happened. Piotr will stay, on the understanding that if there's one step out of line he's out, and he's not going to take my boss's note any further. The forklift accident will go down as simply an accident. He has since offended another person during the day, but as that is not my fuck up, the story will remain untold. Thank you all for your kind support. I'll remember the advice when something like this inevitably happens again. It might not be too late. Sneak out, get an identical second container of tea, and stash it in the back of the cupboard. That's your tea. Your boss messed up and tagged the wrong one. Go now, escape the bathroom in the chaos. You can do it. Gold tea, best tea. Defacing tea in the UK is punishable by life imprisonment or death by hanging. Your boss should lie low for a while. This is so ridiculous it sounds like a plot line from The Office. Stares guiltily into camera. Bottom line, you can't drink on the job and operate machinery. Gross misconduct. As for your lie about the tea, you just say it was a joke. Not your fault. You are not responsible for the behavior of your boss or Piotr. Piotr should not be drinking and driving an FLT. You could easily kill or maim someone. 99% of places in the UK you'd get the boot for that. Most places you can't even have alcohol on site. You can get sacked for that too. The thing the boss wrote could be deemed offensive, but that doesn't excuse drinking on the job. Boss would probably get a ticking off. Honest tea is the best policy. Today I fucked up by uploading my old exams on the internet. So this all happened in June, and I'm only writing about it now because the situation just got solved. As the broke college student I found a website that offered me money for my notes about classes and old exams that I have taken. Extremely simply procedure that consists of simply uploading PDFs on the web, categorizing them, and then getting a payment on my PayPal. I think great. I make money and I can help kids seeing what to expect on the exam by seeing the old ones. The fact that I scanned all my exams and kept them in my Google Drive to have them as possible study material made the whole process easier. In the span of a couple days I upload about 120 documents for subjects such as OChem, physics, calculus that span from old exams to notes to summaries about the whole class. Pretty much my old study materials. I get a couple $100 and go buy my, at the time, well-deserved booze. Fast forward a month, and I have just given all my finals, got my 4.0 this term, and I am happily preparing to go back home. I wake up one morning with an email from my email professor informing me that due to the content I uploaded he is gonna fail me in the class even if I passed it with an A. I immediately panic. I start freaking out. To make matters worse, I get an email from my physics professor with the same exact content, failing the class even though I passed it. Now I am actually freaking the fuck out. I am an international student in the US, so now I'm scared my visa is gonna get cancelled and that I am a dead man. Next day I receive an email from the director of student affairs asking to meet me to discuss the question. I'm hoping he will just give me a slap on the wrist and tell me to not do it again. I meet him, and after a 2-hour meeting he informs me that most likely I will be expelled from the school, not allowing me to enroll at the university I was transferring to and ultimately revoking my visa. I get home and have an absolute breakdown. I can't tell my parents because they will fucking disown me, so I have this weight on my back that's literally killing me. However, the decision wasn't final, so the director asks to meet me again the next week. Every day that passes it becomes worse. I don't know what to do with myself. I have so much shit going on that I start having suicidal thoughts. I am at the lowest point of my life. I've been lucky enough to never have experienced any real problems. Day comes and the fucking director tells me that he will not give me a final decision today and that he will contact me via email, due to the fact that I am leaving to go back to my home country and won't be in the States to personally see him. I fly back home, and after approximately 3 days I get an email informing me that I have been suspended for the summer term. I have a 2,500 word paper about academic integrity and my GPA has been lowered to a 1.0 for the term. However, I will be able to transfer to the university I was planning to go and I will get to keep my academic scholarship. Additionally, I have to write a paper of 2,500 words about academic integrity that includes interview to 2 professors along with some other assignments that will be communicated me later. Fast forward a couple of months and I am currently on a plane flying towards my new college, with a huge weight off my shoulders. Too long didn't read, I uploaded old college exams on the internet, went from a 4.0 to a 1.0 for the term, nearly got expelled and deported. Edit, I forgot to add that I had to remove all the documents I uploaded, only way to do so was refunding the company that paid me via PayPal. So overall, I didn't end up earning 1 cent. Edit 2, holy fuck, this blew up way more than I expected. I've been getting a lot of mixed reactions, people feeling bad for what happened, which they shouldn't, and people ripping my asshole apart, rightfully so. Just to specify a few things that I might have gone over too quickly. Exams were semester-old exams / weeks old, as I wanted to make sure nobody could benefit from the uploads as they would have been required to already take it. Secondly, my GPA for the term was lowered to a 1.0. This impacted my overall GPA a tiny bit, but I was still able to secure an academic scholarship at the university I transferred to. I didn't post it that today I fucked up with the purpose of saying fuck my college, they are a bunch of douchebags. It was more with the intent to show how little, at the time meaningless, actions can fuck up your future, big time. Especially because I just assumed I would be able to do in the US things that I used to do in high school back at home. I am grateful to the school for the course of action they took, as I know that things could have been way worse. You live and you learn. Well, at least you can sell the paper about academic integrity. /s. Uploading it right now. How did they even find out it was you? Did you leave your name on the documents or have your real name on your account? I didn't select anonymous upload when I uploaded the documents, so every document said uploaded by my name. Also didn't bother to Photoshop my name out as I thought I wasn't doing anything wrong. Again, I was a head ace. If they allowed you to keep a hard copy of the exam, that exam is out there. The couple $100 were not worth it in the end. Frown. Oh holy shit, I forgot to add that I had to delete the document off the website and only way doing so was to refund the company that paid me. Overall I had no gain whatsoever, only a lot of stress. Today I fucked up by telling my son the wrong thing as I tucked him in. This just happened. My 4-year-old son wanted me to carry him to bed. I obliged as I often do. Also often I tell him he's getting so big that someday I won't be able to carry him. But today was different. Inspired by one of the most memorable posts I've read here, as I laid him down I said, one day, unknown to either you or me, I will put you down never to pick you up again. I thought it was going to go right past him like when I say he's getting too big for me to carry. Instead, he looked at me from his bed, tears welling up in his eyes, and said in a quiet little voice, "Daddy, that's so sad." I lost it. We both wept for about an hour until I held his little hand as he fell asleep. People die all the time. Just like that. Why, you could wake up dead tomorrow. Well, good night. Clear it up with him that you're just planning on abandoning him in the wilderness. I'm sure the Chaos Elemental will look after him. As a child, the saddest day of my life was when I fell asleep downstairs on the couch and lost the magical force that always made me wake up in my bed. When I drink enough beer, this magic sometimes comes back to me. My 17-year-old son told my wife a while back, "Do you remember the last time you put me down and never picked me back up?" She got all teary-eyed and just about lost it. Poor kid didn't know the effect that thought could have. Probably picked that line up from the internet. Sure as hell don't remember the time my parents stopped picking me up. My dad still picks me up and I'm almost 20. He uses me as a weight for squats. My dad still tries to pick me up and I'm like, "Dad, stop getting so drunk at my favorite bars."